The creative process is a very, very interesting and deep topic that delves into the psychology of man. It has been with humanity ever since our inception, and is progressively, arguably, getting stronger as each generation goes by. Cave paintings, cliff carvings, wood carvings, marble statues, music, illustrated paintings, all have one thing in common. The creative process has been at the core of this. Humanity's ability to create through their creative process is unparalleled by any other being on the face of this planet. Cultures from all around the globe have created such beautiful pieces of artwork over the years, over the centuries, over the millennia. But would it be interesting to know that the creative process from the beginning till now is unchanged? At its core, the creative process is the same for everyone. Every artwork has a purpose. Is it to entertain? Is it to tell a story? Is it to relive a funny moment? Whatever it is, each bit of artwork needs a purpose. Cavemen used cave paintings and drawings as a form of communication, to tell stories, to tell warnings, even as early forms of written communication, all giving a more survival-based purpose to their creations. Expanding on this, ancient civilizations made monuments to honor deities and peoples of importance. The Great Pyramids, the Sphinx, the Parthenon. All of these are monuments made by ancient civilizations to either honor gods or people of importance, which at its core is moving to a more community-based reason to create things. Every piece of artwork needs a purpose. Accelerating a couple hundred years, Pacific Islanders, who are well renowned for the tattoos that they had on their body. These tattoos often signified you personally on the outside of your skin. The Maori people had face tattoos, known as tamoko, and these tamoko would represent one's personal ancestry, their whakapapa, where they came from, who their relatives are, their personal history, as well as their social rank and their strength. The further back in human history you go, the more it can be perceived that the purpose behind creation were based on primal needs. The modern day purpose within the creative process has shifted a lot from ancient times. We no longer have the primal need to express ourselves in the same way. But what does the purpose within modern day creative processes look like? Hi, I'm Alex, I go by Lax, and I'm a music producer. And most of my music serves these three main purposes. The first one is personal enjoyment. I often find myself aching to get behind the computer, get behind the desk, and actually make some music. It's one of my favorite pastimes. It's really enjoyable, and just exploring different genres and everything is something that I love to do. The second main purpose to my music is actually emotional expression. I found at a very young age that through musical expression I was able to let loose a lot of the emotions and baggage that I would carry as a result of harboring around all these different feelings on my shoulders and within. So music has really helped me through that. And thirdly, and in my opinion, the dirty reason as to why I make music is money. Generating income. I have made songs for advertisements, other artists, and myself, all on streaming platforms, all of which are important, especially as music production is a career that I want to verse myself in holistically. The modern day purpose within people's creative processes has come a long way since ancient times. We no longer have primal-based needs to fulfill in our everyday lives. That's why there's a rise of more individualistic purposes behind people's creations, to satisfy themselves or to gain money or whatever it seems to be. The modern day is a lot more self-centered in the artwork that is created. It can be seen that every person's creative process requires a purpose. Whether it be a more survival-based one, a more community-based one, or a more personal and individualistic-based one. A purpose is needed for every work of creation. Inspiration is a catalyst within everybody's creative process, and without inspiration, creations would simply be non-existent. Initially, it can be thought that within the creative process, purpose and inspiration both serve a very similar need and often walk a very fine line with one another. However, they're both fundamentally different from each other. Purpose within the creative process is all about the point in which your art serves. The purpose in creating monuments to appease gods will be to gain their favor in an attempt to also get things from them, such as wealth or a family. Whereas inspiration is the reason why a piece of art exists. For example, I could be looking at a beautiful sunset and think, I want to capture this moment. So I whip out a sketch pad and some pencils and start drawing. The sunset is your inspiration. Inspiration can come from a myriad of different places. For example, the cavemen used to convey a lot of their artistic expression and creations through storytelling. A caveman's story is often comprising from real life experiences and then being retold in an over-dramatized version of what actually happened. Accelerate forward a couple millennia, and civilizations believed that there were sun gods that carried the sun in a chariot across the sky every single day. And they would build monuments to appease said god in the hopes that there would be another day of sun. Within older times, inspiration really blurred the line with purpose within the creative process of humanity. The inspiration for the monument to appease the sun god was purpose-driven because they wanted another day of sun. The purpose of telling a story of survival, of what you have experienced, of your friend dying on your journey, is to warn everybody else about going that way and coming up across that beast because it's one of survival. However, this does not mean that inspiration from all those millennia ago was purely based on survival reasons. They might have come across things in nature or thought up their own ideas that led to some of the creations that they had had. However, the inspiring catalyst was driven more often than not by a purpose. Looking at causes of inspiration through the creative process throughout human history, a trend can be seen much like the trend of purpose. The modern day is remarkably individualized and self-focusing. As a society, we no longer have that primal need and inspiration for purpose-driven ideas. We have overcome them. We've advanced far enough that that is no longer an essential to our lives, which I believe is a big reason why we focus more on ourselves and how we personally get inspiration, as it is a key part of the creative process. Hi, it's me again, your modern artist. And inspiration is a tricky one that I find because I get inspired by so many different things every single day. There are so many different forms of inspiration, from movies to games to nature to other music to social media. At our fingertips, we instantly have access to so many forms of creation, so many different types. And that is so inspiring in so many different ways. The first being the art itself can be so compelling that you want to go and replicate it, or that it inspires you to do something similar. It could be the style of video, it could be the actual product itself that is being marketed. Whatever it is, at our fingertips is so much. And then also, on top of that, these people that are willing to put themselves online to the criticism of the internet, not only dealing with their own personal criticism, but to then put that in front of other people and present this thing you've worked so hard for. So much work has been put into it. It's truly inspiring. I personally believe we are at the peak of human creativity, as it is everywhere. Whenever we go somewhere in the car, we're playing music. Wherever we go, we're watching sports, or got a television, or got our phones. Everywhere we look. I mean, look around. Artwork. Books, which is art. Manga, art. Lego, art. Everywhere we look, what we can see is artwork. Inspiration comes from many different forms and sources, and as can be seen, is often the catalyst within people's creative processes. However, without inspiration, people's art often becomes lost lacks quality, and is parched of emotion, making it a core aspect to everyone's creative process. Outside these fundamentals within a creative process, people's creative processes in general begin to differ slightly. Some people might need time in nature. Some people might need food at their station at all times. Some people may just need to diverse themselves wholly in whatever they are trying to process and create. However, despite these alterations and these slight differences between every single person's creative process, each person's creative process is fundamentally the same. Every creation, in fact, needs a process. Each process needs a purpose. And each purpose needs a catalyst, known often as inspiration.